Hello everyone and welcome to a new project, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. A Game Boy Advance game from 2003-ish, I think. Around there anyway, it's fairly old now. Which is also, by the way, why the quality of this video is not as high as in the resolution. I could render this up to 1080p, but then it would look terribly pixelated anyway, because you know the old Game Boy Advance screen, that's how much the game actually provides in terms of pixel information. The menu does appear to be doing things I don't want it doing. So, problem is, as soon as I think I might just, if I go into this, then maybe it won't do anything silly. Yeah, basically, I could render this up to 1080p, it would look terrible. I guess it's just not the kind of project that you will really be wanting to watch in full screen. You know, just leave it running on the normal video page and have fun with it. Anyway, I will now jump straight into it and start a new game. Incidentally, I do, there's no audio, well there's audio as you can hear, but there's no voice acting. I don't even think the Game Boy Advance could handle that. Don't know. But yeah. So I will be reading out all the dialogues, I won't be doing voice acting. And also I am playing on an emulator because I cannot record from my, I think actually what I have is a Nintendo DS. But before anyone complains, I do legitimately own the game, as in the actual cartridge, and I'm using the emulator only because that's the by far most convenient way to play and record this game. I will not be using any of the emulator features like the save states and turbo mode and anything like that. If I hit spacebar right now, it would speed up the game substantially. Basically, just in background, the tutorial is going to be long anyway. The Nintendo DS or the Game Boy Advance, which the game was designed for, it had a fairly limited processor, obviously. It's a handheld console without any real power to it, so obviously it's, compared to a computer, which I'm running this on now, it's pathetically weak. And so what the emulator does normally, it basically pretends to be that Nintendo DS or that Game Boy Advance, and it doesn't give its full processing power to that to the game. It basically fools the game into thinking that it only has the amount of power that it should have. But if I hit spacebar, I can basically, instead of rendering at the same speed that the handheld console would be rendering at, it can basically say, you know what, I've done this bit of calculation, so I've done this frame. Instead of waiting the appropriate time so it's like on the other system, I will just keep going right now. I'll basically, instead of providing a limited amount of power to the game, I would be giving it the full power of my processor, which would make it run a lot faster than it ever could on the handheld console. That would be something I would be doing, for example, in a private playthrough. If I, as I already know the story, I would, for example, blaze through the 20-minute tutorial, making it a 5-minute tutorial. Stuff like that. But I won't be doing that on video. There will be some stuff I will not show, but that will not actually be relevant content, and you will see what I mean by that in a bit. Essentially, you will get to see 100% of the game. Okay, and we're having a snowball fight in some kind of school. Yes, it's Final Fantasy, we're playing teenagers, as you do in Final Fantasy games, I guess. Oh man, why do I get stuck on the weak team? We're just gonna lose. Where's the fun in that? Hey Mute, where's your little bear today? ... Slightly reminiscent of Squall from Final Fantasy VIII there. He didn't want his precious bear to get wet in the snow. Aww, did your mommy give you that bear? What's your problem, new kid? Leave him alone. He's not going to say anything anyway. He's like a little girl. Hey, that's gender discrimination. And I know some little girls who can kick your butt. And yes, it is tame language. You know, teenagers would never resort to using foul language at the playground, would they now? Whoa, Ritz, what's your problem? You don't want to be on that team, right? How about we switch? Would that be better? Let's start already. You should speak up. Tell them your name at least. You can't be the new kid forever. So, the default name for our main character is March. I don't really like it, but then I can't think of a really good other name except for the really obvious one, which I'm now going to go for. Note that this isn't funny. It's just the most obvious one. And because I have fairly limited creativity, that's what we're going with. I hope my keyboard isn't too loud, by the way. Obviously, I control this thing entirely with keyboard. Sorry, new kid. You don't have to apologize, Mute. You haven't done anything wrong. ... Okay, Mr. Leslie, we're ready to go. Then let's get this snowball fight started. Ready? Because as you know, in a schoolyard there are strict rules to follow when doing a snowball fight. So very tactical and strategic, and well, it's a tutorial, so yeah. Gotten used to the snow in St. Ivolus. Let's go St. Ivolus yet, new kid? It's much warmer where you're from, isn't it? Yes, sir. It never snowed. This is practically my first snowball fight. Really? Then let me give you some pointers. Ritz, could you help us out? Yes, Mr. Leslie. Kids with the highest speed move first. Once your turn comes around, first you have to move. You can only go set distance, so think, then move. When the menu isn't up, press the B button to see your move range. You can redo a move as many times as you want. Ready to move? Okay, now that you're in position, you can throw a snowball. Choose Snowball from the action menu. The green colored panels show your throwing range. Now choose where you want to aim within that range. If no one from the other team is in range, just wait. Waiting makes your next turn come around quicker. Okay, here goes. Yeah! Once you've thrown, you have to choose a facing. Once you've chosen a facing, your turn ends. Understand? And I do not want you to repeat the lesson. Unlike in a notorious Zelda game, the default option if you just spam A to get through this as quickly as possible is actually no, so you don't end up in an infinite loop, constantly saying, yes, please tell me that whole thing again. Yeah, I think so. Thanks, Rich, Mr. Leslie. Let's get back to the snowball fight then. Good luck, new kid. You can see help for any game command. To view, choose a command and press select. Okay, so now we're actually in the combat system of the game that we will be very, very familiar with over the course of the game. And this is just a sort of show fight. There's not actually much to be done here, which is why I'm not doing anything strategic or sort of exploity here. In later combat, you will see that I will be doing a fair amount of not glitch using, but sort of exploiting game mechanics to gain an advantage in possibly ways that aren't entirely role-playing friendly. Let's put it that way. But you'll get to see what I mean eventually. And we will get an explanation on that anyway. By the way, we are outnumbered 5-4, but that doesn't actually matter. You have an increased chance to hit if you're standing to the side of someone. So, for example, right now, I'm just... Why can I not? Oh, that's the teacher. Right, of course. So not actually outnumbered. The teacher just looks just like a kid, actually. Okay, so I'll have to choose a different example to show you that. Let's go here. And let's hit this kid. As you can see, 1 damage. It's a show fight. Everything does 1 damage. It's not really about defeating the other team at this point. Obviously, a snowball fight in a schoolyard is not really going to have the goal of knocking everyone else unconscious. And you can see, bottom left, there's a sort of big bracket opening behind the word hit. And that says 1 damage, 75%. The damage is the estimated average amount of damage that this attack will be dealing. Because there's damage ranges, what you end up doing is actually the value could be off by 10% either way. So you take that value, you could do 10% more or 10% less. Anything in that range is basically what you could be dealing with. With 1 damage, it's always going to be 1 damage, but if that's at 100 damage, it could actually go from 90 to 110, roughly. It might be that those 10% aren't entirely correct. It's just my experience of playing the game for 197 hours or something along those lines. My save game on my card it's not even my first one, and it's at almost 200 hours. So spent a fair amount of time, but a long time ago. So, but yeah, the 75% is really the chance to hit, which is what I was going to tell you about. If instead I just go here and use the snowball to hit the kid in the face, my chance to hit is now only 50%. So basically, attacking someone from the side, or even better from behind, makes it more likely that you'll be able to hit that person, because they don't see your attack coming and they have less chance of dodging it, essentially. It's not really relevant in this fight. As you can see, Newt, this guy who everyone seems to bully, only has 8 health. So all the enemies are focusing on him. It's the AI in ordinary combat later on will have sort of a priority of targeting weaker party members first. And now, here we get the explanation. There's a trick to throwing a snowball too. It's easier to hit someone from the side or behind. Think about which way your opponent's facing when you move. What I was going to say is that ordinarily, as I said, the AI has an increased chance to sort of try to go for your weakened or weaker party members. In this fight, however, the enemy AI, because it's a show fight story, they will only attack Newt, because they hate him, he's the bullying victim of the school, so everyone's just trying to attack him whenever possible. Which means they're not targeting anyone else, which means, for example, I don't really need to pay much attention to where my party members are standing, unless, like in this case, the enemy has no way of getting to Mute, which apparently this one didn't, so that's the only reason she chose to attack someone else. But really, it's not a fight you can win or lose, it's just a fight that you have to go through to get used to the game mechanics. I'm not quite sure why they did this, because we're actually getting sort of another tutorial fight later on. But this explains just the very, very basics. The problem, of course, being that we're never going to fight a snowball fight again. It's the only actual snowball fight that there is in the game, so yeah, actual combat is going to be a little different, but the general idea is actually yeah, pretty much entirely understandable and just fine. I don't believe you can knock anyone unconscious in this fight. Yeah. And now the actual interactive part of this is over. Hey, no running away, Mute! But that's what Mute does best. Haha. ... And this kind of cutscene triggers basically when everyone has had one. It's about one whole combat turn being over. I used to think that it triggers when Mute has hit a certain amount of hit points, so I kept attacking him with my guys as well. But I don't think that actually speeds it up at all, so just, I don't know, do anything and eventually it'll be over. Will you two stop it? And yeah, it's entirely inconsequential how you're doing in this fight, as I said. Just pure tutorial and essentially storyline. What? We're not breaking any rules. I skipped through that a little, but you had enough time to read it. Sure, you've been aiming at Mute this whole time. Are you okay, Mute? Yeah, I'm fine. See? He says he's fine, so what's the problem? He knows you'd pick on him worse if he said anything else. Ow! By the way, when someone is hurt, no one who's hurt ever says ouch, unless it's a minor thing. Like if you sort of bang your hand on something a little, you might say ouch, but if you're actually in pain, you don't say ouch. You just sort of scream "Wah!" or something along those lines. It's like a rat. A rat is squeaking, but a rat would never actually say squeak. It's sort of something along those lines. Mute, your forehead is bleeding. Huh? There was a rock in that snowball. Hey, I didn't throw any rocks. It's Mute's fault for being so lame. He's an easy target, and we've got to get points, right? So the end justifies the means? You guys are horrible. Whatever you say, Whitey Locks. What did you call me? We know you dye your hair because it's really all white. Yeah, just like an old grandma. Haha, little prissy grandma. Step over here and say that again. Children, behave. And you can tell he's a grown-up because he's got a bit of a beard. This snowball fight is over. Lyle, Colin, Guinness, I want you to come with me. And those names, just sort of remember them, they'll be coming up again at a noticeably later stage of the game. Mute, how's your forehead? It's okay. I'm fine, really. That's it for class today. The rest of you can go home. Thank you. I can't stand bullies who pick on little kids. Those jerks. So, new kid, what are you doing after this? Huh? Why? I was going to go buy this book, and I was wondering if you wanted to come along. Sorry, I can't. My little brother's getting out of the hospital today. Hospital? Was he sick? No, it's something he was born with. We have to take him to the hospital every now and then. Wow, that's rough. What kind of book are you going to buy? It's about monsters and magic and stuff like that. Why don't you bring it over to my house? I'm sure Donnet, my brother, would love to see it. Well, if you're sure it's okay. Absolutely. Why don't you come too, Ritz? Me? Gee, I guess I don't have any other plans. Okay. Great. You two know where my house is? It's the yellow house, right? I'll come over as soon as I buy that book. So it's apparently a fairly small town where you can identify the houses by color. Even though, I guess yellow is a rare color for a house, so maybe it makes sense. I'll be waiting. And we're not done with the tutorial yet. It's unfortunately fairly long and entirely unskippable. Making this first episode quite long and boring. Otherwise, for the rest of the game, it'll actually be one fight and one sort of management... Probably... I don't know. I'll either... No, the way I'll do is I'll do the sort of pre-fight management, party stuff, you know, buying, selling, general RPG stuff. Then it'll be one combat, and then I'll cut the episode, and next episode will start after that combat with all the sort of post-combat stuff. Okay, gosh, I'm really sorry. Uh-oh. I'm really, really sorry. Please accept my apologies. Mr. Randall, we expect a certain level of performance, regardless of circumstances. It won't happen again. Don't worry, I'll fix things up here. Okay, thanks. Thank you for waiting, shall we? Look at that guy cringing like that. Embarrassing. Mute! Mute, it's you! Hi, Dad. School's out already? Yeah. These your friends? Don't you still have work to do, Dad? Ah, yes. You know, busy, busy, busy. You all keep an eye on Mute for me, okay? He used to work at a bigger company before. When Mom died, he stopped caring. He broke down big time. He seems nice. Not many parents talk to their kids like that. I bet you used to go out on vacations and stuff a lot. Well, we'll be waiting for you at my place. Mute, how much do you know about New Kid? Huh? I guess your family has had its problems too. But I heard that New Kid doesn't have a dad. Donut? Oh, hiya. Welcome back. You're kinda late, aren't you? We had a snowball fight at school. I'm totally soaked. A snowball fight, huh? Did they pick on you again? I'm just not used to the snow, that's all. Yeah, you always were bad at sports. Better than you, eh? Sorry. New Kid, your guests are here. Yet sadly my mother calls me New Kid as well now. You invited over some friends? Oh, I forgot to read the dialogue where he tells Mother to send them up here. Anyway. Yeah, one of them says he found this really cool book. I thought you might want to see it too. You like books, don't you? You're always reading them. Only 'cause there's nothing else to do at the hospital. Nothing except read and play games. Hello, we're here. You must be Donut. I'm Ritz, I'm your brother's classmate. And this is Mute. Hiya. You get that book, Mute? Yeah, right here, but I don't know what the title is. Even the guy at the used bookshop couldn't read it. Wow, it looks really old. Let's see what it says. Can you see Donut? No, we're not yet at the end of the tutorial. Still more to come. Appears to be a slightly strange book, full of strange things. Pictures. Writing that we can't decipher. And strange creatures that we don't recognize. Well, unless you know Final Fantasy backstory and lore and such of certain of these games, then you might recognize some of them. I can't read these letters at all. Maybe there's some kind of magic spell. Obviously. Not like there's foreign languages, it's obviously magic. You might not be too far off. Look, a magic circle. Maybe this is in Latin or something. And there are some later editions. What does this say? Altaoron Zondus Camila. It sure sounds like magic. Wow, a magic book. I wish I could use magic. I knew you'd like it, Donut. If you could use magic, maybe you'd be better at sports. That's not funny. Haha, it's true. It'd be cool if this really were a magic book. Haven't you ever read a book and thought, what if the world in this book was the real world? I don't know, most books are so boring. They're all way too predictable. Well, what do you like, Ritz? Comic books? Games! You know, fighting monsters and all that. Incoming self-referential, stuff. Okay, if you could make any game real, which would it be? That's a good question. I'd pick Final Fantasy, that's my favorite. Subtle, eh? My, look at the time. I should get going soon. Yeah, me too. See you at school, new kid. Thanks for having us over, new kid. Nice meeting you too, Donut. See you later, Ritz. Wait, I'll see you guys out. Be right back, Donut. I wish I could use magic. Donut! It's time for your medicine! Okay, Mom. And this is it, the lovely town of Ivalice. It's all snowy and towny and Ivalice, and there's umbrellas and bikes and what looks to be either a cat or a dog, probably a dog, but might have been a cat. And look, a magic book that opens itself. Schoolyard. Not a schoolyard. Well, whatever's going on here. Look, the schoolyard turned into a desert with a strange monster flying over it. And we have a cafe and 3 people in front of the cafe in the snow. Now everything's gone and they turn into the things we saw in the book. And look, the town has changed. It's now a sort of old-fashioned medieval towny thing. And Donut is glowing and now it disappeared. And apparently we're floating over our bed. Ghostbusters style. And whoop. We're now dressed, which is interesting. And we're in the similar town. Maybe the same one even. So you remember that bit where they were saying, wouldn't it be cool if the game became reality, or if the world in this book became reality? Yeah. Yeah. Huh? Where am I? Oh, excuse me. Watch where you're going, Thun. You're a lizard. What did you say? You said lizard. It takes a lot of nerve to call a bangar a lizard. Kupo! There you are, Kupo! Moogle, this human brat with you? Yes, Kupo. He's just come in from the countryside, you see. ... Apologize to the Bangar, Kupo. Sorry. Please excuse him. He's not used to seeing Bangar. Hey you, wait. Kupo? Those clothes. You're a soldier, aren't you? A soldier? Yes. So you wouldn't mind a little engagement? Huh? What's going on here? He's engaging you, Kupo. To win, defeat all enemies. Get ready. And this is more like what the actual fights in the actual game will be like, but it's still sort of mostly tutorial. Wait a second, I get it. Engage means fight. You sure are a keen observer of the obvious, Kupo. There's the judge, and the laws for today are all set. Judge? Laws? Uh-oh, don't tell me you don't know about those. The laws today forbid the use of all items, Kupo. Always be sure to check the laws, or you'll be sorry. Check current laws from the main command menu. Okay, wait, so an engagement is a battle, and the laws are the rules for the battle, and that guy in armor is the judge? Kupo, it's your turn, Kupo. Use your sword and your abilities, I'll back you up. Okay, here goes. So, this is the actual combat in the game. You know your move, then you choose an action. It's very similar to the snowball fight, except we don't throw snowballs anymore. We now actually have a sword, and we can use various things. We start off as a soldier, I think that's our class. We have the Battletech First Aid. By hitting select, I can see what that does, and it disinfects wounds to heal HP and remedy status. Not relevant because we're at full health and we don't have a status effect. And we can fight. Because we have a sword, it's a one-tile range weapon. We can hit any tile adjacent to us, and obviously hitting this guy in the back is the best option. 24 damage, good. Let's see what Eivor does. He goes for Mont Blanc. And that little guy is called Mont Blanc, which is a mountain in France, I believe. But spelled slightly differently, if I'm not much mistaken. And I think Final Fantasy XII is playing in the same sort of world where you have the same races, and the many Final Fantasy games tend to play in sort of different worlds, but this Ivalice world has been used in other games. Yeah, I do know it's been used in Final Fantasy XII. It might have been used in Final Fantasy Tactics without the advance. Might have been used in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2 as well. I don't know precisely. Anyway, Judge Point. Judge Point? What's that? Collect Judge Points. That way you can use combos with other clan members. It makes engagements a snap, Kupo. So all I have to do is defeat my opponents? Gotcha. There's a little more to it than that, actually. If I just go here, and I think then... press start? Yeah, we get to see the laws. And currently, items are forbidden, and dark is recommended, which means using an item would give me a sort of... it's illegal, or it's forbidden for this fight. And using anything that has dark to it would be good. I can't really do either at this point because I don't have any items and I don't have any abilities that are dark. The way it works is, and I'm saying this now because at the end of the fight it'll sort of be done in an unusual way, that it's not actually being done like in the rest of the game. Nice, 27. So as I said, the way it's going to be done is, in the rest of the game I mean, is that if I do an infraction, I will get a yellow card. Sort of like a football thing, you know. And if I already have a yellow card and I get another one, I get sent to prison. However, if the infraction is a major one, such as if I kill another party an enemy with an illegal method, say swords were forbidden and I kill someone with a sword, then I get the red card instantly and get sent to prison. If I only hit someone with a sword and he takes damage but doesn't die, I will get the yellow card. If I do it again, I'll get the second yellow card, which is then a sort of yellow-red. I believe just like in football. And you get sent to prison immediately. And if your main character gets sent to prison, I believe that's a game over. So something to be avoided. The laws are just something you have to be aware of. Phew! I guess I made it somehow. It's almost impossible to lose this fight, but it can be done. But you have to actually actively try to lose it. It is possible, but as I said, difficult. Grrr, I'm hurt. Where's that potion? There we go. Infraction of Law R24601 forbidding items. All violators will be sent to prison. Kupo, the Slammer. I hope I never get sent there. The Slammer? Yeah, prison. They send people who break the law there. Oh, it's a dark and scary place, Kupo. Perpetrator sentenced and imprisoned. Visitors are asked to go to the prison facility in Sprome. Plop. Sprome? Prison? What have I gotten myself into? Thanks for helping me. Never ever call a Banga a lizard, Kupo. Sorry, I really didn't know. You have seen a Banga before, right, Kupo? Yes. Well, no. Not a real one, at least. Kupo? Where exactly are you from, Kupo? Kadoan? Muscadet? I don't know. I'm all confused. And to top it off, I'm talking to a stuffed animal. A stuffed animal? I'll have you know I'm a Moogle, Kupo. Fine, so you're a Moogle. What's that? Okay, I believe you. You're confused. Let me explain. This is the town of Cyril, in the land of Ivalice. Ivalice? That's the name of the town where I'm from. Town? But Ivalice is a country. Not my Ivalice, and there's no Banga there either. What about Moogles? Surely the other towns have them? Nope, we just have normal things, like dogs and cats. But you said you'd seen a Banga, only not a real one. What did you mean, Kupo? Well, it's just... I've seen a Banga, but in a computer game, not real life. Kupo? It's called Final Fantasy. It's not real. Not really. Self-reference number 2. It's like a pretend world with heroes and monsters. So you're saying here it's just like your pretend world? Yeah, come to think of it, it's just like in the game. Okay, now I'm the one that's confused, Kupo. Sorry, I know I'm not being very helpful. No, this is by far the most Kupo story I've ever heard. You're telling me. Of course, I'm not entirely sure I believe you, Kupo. Can hardly believe it myself. What should I do? I think our meeting like this was no accident, Kupo. Stick with me and I'll help you out, okay, Kupo? Thanks. By the way, I'm Newkid. What's your name? They call me Mont Blanc, Kupo. Come with me, Newkid. We're approaching the end now, by the way, so as you can see from the video length, not that much more to go. Hang in there, you'll do it. What's this place? This is where our clan members hang out. Clans are like groups of people who work together. Wow, everybody looks so tough. Well, our clan takes on some pretty rough jobs. Of course, the pay is good, and there's never a dull moment. Maybe someone here knows how I can get back home. You could ask around, Kupo. Can I join the clan too? Sure thing. I just have to introduce you and you're in. Hey everyone, I'd like to introduce Newkid. Hello. Me and the others will help you out. It's actually the others now, but never mind. And maybe we can help you find your way home, Kupo. Say, Mont Blanc, does this clan have a name? Well, it's kind of a small clan, so no, not yet. Kupo, why don't you give it a name, Kupo? Me? to commemorate you joining the clan. Make it a Koopa one. And because I already chose a really terrible name for my own main character, I will choose a really terrible name for the clan as well. You have 9 letters to play with, so you could actually do something a lot more fun, but I really have no creativity whatsoever. That part of my brain has been removed in experimental surgery. How about no name? Kupo, henceforth we shall be called Clan No Name. Okay, let's get you settled in, shall we, Kupo? This is where we are right now, in Ivalice. Okay, symbols are received when you complete a mission. Place them to add new missions at the pub. Place them in a special order to reveal treasures. Try to find the special combinations yourself. Okay. As we progress through the story, we get these sort of map symbols that we can place anywhere on the map. And the way it works is, depending on the configuration I put them down in, and I will put Sprome right here, I will get the option to do a treasure hunt. Not right now, because I've placed this one down adjacent to no other locations. If I place a town or a new sort of map location down adjacent to others, then depending on the configuration of what I'm placing them adjacent to, some of these symbols will sort of have a short shaking animation, and I will be able to then go there and do a treasure hunt. And depending again on how which were adjacent, I will get a certain kind of item. Let's say I get a mountain location next. I might actually, I don't quite know. Let's just say I get a mountain next. I think I do, and I will put the mountain right here. Then I have just placed a mountain adjacent to 2 towns. And that specific configuration will give me specific items. Basically. There are various ways you can go about setting this up. You can either just, randomly plot them down wherever and you will get some items, but probably not the best ones. Other options include, trying to get as many adjacent ones as possible before plopping down the next one. So for example, what I could do is I could put another one right here and one right here, and then if I place the next one here, it'll have 4 adjacent ones. And if all these 4 adjacent ones happen to be towns, for example, then I know the one in the center will get a ribbon as a secret item, which is a very, very good item. What I am actually going to do, however, is I've looked up a particular configuration on the internet. I will, if I remember, link to it in the description. Chances are I'll forget, so if I forget, remind me if you want to know it. And this particular configuration will give me all the items that are exclusive to the treasure hunt. There are some items that you cannot get any other way except by doing the treasure hunt. And you can get these, all of them, by using this particular setup. There's no sort of best setup. There are others which happen to give you more of a certain type of weapon. For example, there's a bow called the Gastra bow, which is quite good, which you can get from this. And the way I'm setting it up, I'm not going to get that, for example. Well, actually I think I'm getting 1, but there's a way to set it up so you get 2 of them. Doesn't really matter anyway. Basically I've got the order and the locations on my screen as well. This is not full screen, so I have tons of space left over. And essentially, if you want a very good grab of items, you can just play along and do it exactly as I do, and you will get very good items, and you will get all the exclusive items to the treasure hunt system. If you want to experiment yourself, do that, of course. You're not going to end up with a perfect configuration right away, but go for it, I guess. Alternatively, look it up on the internet, look for a different configuration if you decide you want something else. For example, you want more ribbons. I think I only get 1 the way I do it. Just go with it, I guess. Now, what I can do is, at this stage, I can go to System and save my game. There we go. and that's been 46 minutes. Really, really long. Again, I slightly apologize, but there's nothing to be done about this. The tutorial just is fairly endless. It'll be a lot shorter from now on. And I will actually cut here. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please leave any feedback, any suggestions, anything like that. And I'll get more into how exactly this LP is going to play out next time. So, yeah, just bear with me, I guess. Thank you for sticking through to the end, and until next time, bye-bye.